Hello, welcome to my channel. My name is Hannah and I am a homeschool mom of 4 in the Midwest, and in today's video I am going to be sharing what went well and what didn't go so well in our term 1 for the homeschool year 2022-2023, and I'm really excited to dive in. So if you're new around here on this channel, I have been sharing about our homeschool journey along with some just clean living tips, ways to make life easier if you're a busy mom of children. And so if you like this video, then make sure to subscribe for more and give this video a thumbs up. So I'm really excited to just share kind of an overview of how things went the last 12 weeks. In fact, if you were here in person, we'd probably have a cup of tea and be sitting at my school table. I actually had some friends over this morning and we were just discussing what we felt went really well this past term and what our plans are for the next term and what that kind of looks like. So that's what I feel like I'm doing right now. I feel like I'm just going to hang out with you virtually and share with you from my heart what the things that went really well for term 1. If you would like to kind of see the books and curriculum that we used, I will post in the description below our family subjects and school subjects for this current year. There are a few things that will change in term 2, and I also have a few things that I will be changing for the holiday season. So I will be sharing a term 2 update and schooling through the holidays video very soon. But let's get into what went well, what didn't. I'm going to kind of give an overview and kind of just hit on each subject. And at the end, I'm going to share a little bit about what we did for examinations. We follow mostly the Charlotte Mason type of school. And so I'm going to go a little bit over how I did exams, how they went, and what they kind of showed me. So hopefully you will enjoy this video. It might get a little long-winded, but I'll try my best to stick to the point. So if you do all year round schooling or you do your school by terms, let me know in the comments below. Or if you do more of a traditional 9-month school, I'm really curious to see how everyone does their school. For us, this is the first year where we are breaking it up into 3 terms, 12 weeks apiece with some breaks in between. And I think it's working really well for us. First of all, we will do a picture study, music study in our rotation. Now, so our picture study was Van Gogh. You probably see all of the pictures up there because I have not taken them down. We'll start a new picture study. Van Gogh went really well. We love the curriculum. I felt like the girls definitely had an understanding of the paintings and might remember them 5 years from now that they were Van Gogh. So I would give that an A+. Our music study was Chopin, and we went through the Classics for Kids podcast. I really like that podcast, and I'm actually a pianist myself. That's what I went to college for. So we actually just played a lot of Chopin. I think that they're familiar with some of Chopin's practice singing techniques. I think we have a good idea. I'm going to give that an A+. I think that went really well. So our nature study. So we actually went on quite a few walks by ourselves, and then we joined a Charlotte Mason nature study hiking group. And so every other Friday through the end of summer into fall, we get to enjoy a variety of different, either, I think there are county parks, state parks, and then just some local wildlife. So that was really fun. However, I would say this was one area what I could have done better with nature notebooking. We did not do as much notebooking as I would like. So I'm hoping to improve that. Obviously, it might be sort of difficult in the winter here in the Midwest where we get a lot of snow. We're going to do our best to do nature walks. If you're in the Midwest and you do nature walks, give me your tips below for snow. But in the spring, especially, I'm hoping to do better at doing more drawing in their nature notebooks. Hymns. So we follow some of the Simply Charlotte Mason curriculum style online, and then we follow loosely the Ambleside, which is a free Charlotte Mason curriculum kind of guide. And Ambleside, this was my first year kind of using it as a structure, but I don't use it 100%, maybe 80%. So we did follow their folk song and their hymn, which change every single month. That was a hit. A plus 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 plus. Hit with my kids. We loved the folk songs. We loved the hymns. It was a great way to rotate. In fact, at first I only had them once a week, but my kids enjoyed starting their day off so much. A couple weeks into our term, I started doing them every other day. And I think I shared that in my morning basket if you watched that video. And so these were a lot of fun, and I'm really looking forward to just continuing to learning the folk songs and hymns. And I'm really glad that Ambleside just provides a list so that I don't have to decide myself which hymns you can, but they do provide that, so it's an easy way to follow. And then my other Charlotte Mason friends that are here locally are also doing the same hymns and folk songs. So it was really fun when we went on like nature hikes and the kids were singing them and you know, seeing which ones they knew by heart, and that was really sweet to me. And so I find that that's really great. So we're looking forward to the new ones with that. And then handcrafts, I would say we get a D in handcrafts. The girls we were working on knitting for the last 12 weeks. That usually fell on Thursday and Friday, and sometimes it just fell through the cracks, if I'm honest. So I was teaching each of them a different dish rag, and my oldest, who's 9 years old, she is almost done, and I think she'll have it finished before the holidays, and she'll finish her first dishcloth, which I'm really excited about. But I think we could have spent more time. They could have gotten it done faster, but they would do 2 rows and then be done with it. So I don't know if it was knitting specifically, that's what I chose for this term. That wasn't as interesting to them. So I'll talk about my plan moving forward with term 2. We'll continue to do knitting. The handcrafts I think can be interchanged out, but we'll definitely try something else to see if that piques a little more interest for them. Okay, next would be habits. So we follow the Laying Down the Rails by Simply Charlotte Mason, and we did get through all of the habit lessons for the habit of attention. Are we masters of paying attention? By far not the case. So that will be something that we continue to work on. I will choose a new habit to just go over. And I also ordered some different books that are going to have, and I'll share about these in a book haul video coming here very soon, but that I think are going to help us talk about habits and good lessons out of literature and just go forward with that. So we did read the lessons, we did discuss them. Do we always, even adults, need to be working on habits, including the habit of attention? So we're working through that. Our literature. So I had a list of read alouds. We were hoping to get through 3. We did work on our Tales from Shakespeare, which was actually a hit, and they really, I was surprised, got into that. And then we read a few other novelty books, but we did not get through any sort of fat read aloud, like Treasure Island, which I was hoping to go through. And I think that's just because at this time right now, doing a read aloud chapter book with now he's 9 months old, but for the last 12 weeks, he was from 5 to 8 months old, and he was teething, and we just had a really rough spell. So trying to sit down for 15 minutes during the school day was not working. So in the next quarter, we have some Christmas things and Thanksgiving things planned. So I'm not sure what that's going to look like. And I'm going to be kind of working that out on my week off to figure out how best we can get in a heavier duty read aloud. If it's not going to work at this stage, then I'm just going to stick with what I'm doing, which is just reading shorter books weekly with them, kind of like a 5 in a row kind of method. So they're still getting some rich living books and literature, but maybe just not the ones that are so thick. Okay, and then we have our poet, Emily Dickinson, which we'll have all year long because we follow the Simply Charlotte Mason method. So we will just enjoy her poetry along with some other poets through different holidays coming up, and that has been a delight. We actually hosted our first poetry tea time this week. We had 2 friends over that are also following the Simply Charlotte Mason, and they were studying Emily Dickinson as well, and we just enjoyed a nice time. The kids got to read their favorite poem currently, and it was really wonderful. So I am enjoying just reading poems with the kids. So then we have 3 more things: history, foreign language, and geography. So history, we follow the mystery of history. we got through all of our lessons minus 2 that I had planned out. So I think that that's really good. And we will actually be slowing down a little bit through November and December, and then we'll pick it up again as we spend some time really getting into the Roman culture. I really want to kind of sit there for a little while, and I got some extra reading and living books to kind of just complement that time period that we're in together as a family. We won't be doing as many lessons, but I think that what we did this past term actually went really, really well. Same with our foreign language and Spanish. You know, we are following the Charlotte Mason recommended book for Spanish, and we actually are only on lesson 4. So might that, you know, from an outsider looking in, it's like, oh my gosh, did we actually learn any Spanish these last 12 weeks? But even though we didn't learn a ton in terms of vocabulary, I feel like what they're learning is sticking. So I'd rather go really slow with foreign language and make sure that all of us as a family are memorizing it and understanding it and getting it under our belt. So Spanish was really fun though and interesting. I do not speak Spanish. I took French. And so I've been finding that really, really fascinating. Okay, so our last family study subject was geography, and we just are doing the Living Book Press Simply Charlotte Mason Geography, and we've just been reading one lesson. So that has been quite interesting. I'll talk a little bit about what that looked like on the exams for the girls. Now, in terms of map work, totally bombed the map work. Did not prioritize that at all. And so I had ambitions that we would be learning the United States and where our states are that we have visited. We're going to be still working on that, which is okay. But that was all of our family studies. And then of course the girls have their language and their writing and their math and other individual subjects, which we will just continue on into term 2. Nothing really will change in that aspect, but that is everything that we went with term 1. Okay, so now I want to talk a little bit about the exams and how we went about this. This is my 5th year homeschooling. This is my first time ever doing any sort of examination. So I wasn't even sure where to start, but I was recommended to look into the Amblesides exams, and I didn't realize they actually upload all of the questions that you could use, and I did not use everything that they shared, but I took it as like an outline, and then this is just a Word document. If I'm able to, I will post what we did in the description below if I can make it into like a shareable PDF or whatnot. But I'll just talk about how I did the examination. So basically, we went through all of the subjects, individual subjects, and the group subjects that we did in the term: Bible, writing, folk tales, history, geography, natural science, arithmetic, reading, foreign language, picture study, recitation, singing, and then handcrafts. And every single one of the exam questions was pretty simple. Sometimes they had 2 parts. So just for example, on history, this was my 9-year-old. Number 1 was tell me about the Olympics, and she did all written narration for the most part. So she wrote, and I just attached it to here. She wrote everything she remembered in detail about the Olympic Games. And then number 2, because this was our history, I asked her to tell me the story of Elijah, the fiery prophet. And so she went ahead and wrote that as well. So I kept it pretty simple. I just had her do written narration, as you can kind of see here. So like this was her poet, and I picked out a poem for her to do her penmanship examination. So it was really, it's not like they get an A or B or C or something like that, or they're right and wrong. It was really just to see what they remembered. And honestly, I was so pleasantly surprised at the things that they retained. And then there, were some areas that I think we could continue to improve, like the nature study. I felt like I didn't have them draw enough for them to remember something specific. But in other areas, I felt like they really did shine. So my 7-year-old, as you can see here, I have a lot of written notes on her examination. That's because at her age, I did a lot of oral narration. So I just wrote oral narration. I could have recorded it, but I didn't think that was necessary. So for example, for tales, I said, tell a fairy tale you remember from this term. And she remembered Perseus and the Gorgon from Greek myths, and she gave me an oral narration of that, and then I just checked it off, telling myself and her what she did. So that was basically what I did with her. She didn't do any written narration at all. She did draw a flower that she remembered, and then I had her. She just learned cursive this year. She's in 2nd grade. And so I had her write out Proverbs 22:4 for some penmanship practice. So now that I have done this, I think this is really valuable. I was very scared to do it at first. I'm not sure. I think just because I thought they wouldn't remember anything from those 12 weeks of working so hard. I was honestly didn't know what they would remember. And so I think I hesitated. Because I thought it might be a bad reflection even upon myself, right, as a teacher. But I think that this is really important because it does show us, if they're narrating their lessons, what they're actually retaining over the course of 12 weeks and what they really enjoy, which I think will help us plan out the next term. So how we did the examinations is I put it on the 12th week. We wrapped up a few last minute things on Monday and Tuesday, and then I just broke it up because they are young students, so I didn't have them sit and try and do all of this at once, especially my 9-year-old who did all written narration. And I just gave her like 4 on Wednesday, 4 on, just as it was like 4 or 5, whatever, on Wednesday, Thursday and Friday. And that is how we broke it up. And then we were finished with our term. They were super excited that they get a week off and they're just enjoying that. It gives me a time to plan out the next term, and that will go through the holidays. So if you have any other questions about the exams, I will put the link to kind of the guide that's on the Ambleside website. I'll just put year 1, so you have a link for where I found this as well, and I'll try to upload mine too. And if you have any other questions about exams, put them in the comments below. And if this video was helpful, then please give it a thumbs up, and I will see you soon. Thanks.